Is for today, everything's okay, everything's okay. Never comes again, another day like yesterday. Is for today, everything's okay, everything's okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to do another one today. I'm feeling quite a bit better since recovering from a couple of days of flu while on a camping trip. Still a little weak, but anyway, for some reason, I'm cranking them out a little bit this week because there's a lot of topics that I've thought about for a long time, and I don't know why I never went, oh, just do an episode. I think a lot of times because each topic in a complex way fits into a larger point or perspective that I tend to want to talk about. And those take longer to cook. And so what'll happen is tangentially I'll sort of touch on specific topics. And sometimes the topic itself seems too petty. And this one seems a little petty, but in the context of the ways in which business and society interacts with the individual, I think it's highly significant and an important topic. And I'm going to use lots of a language because this thing ignores. My son mixes up annoys and ignores. And he'll say, Dad, Sammy's ignoring me, but he means that she's being annoying, or vice versa, and you have to really check in to figure out. So I just did the same thing. It's something that really annoys me, and it doesn't annoy me. It's not like, okay, I can't manage it and just deal with it. I actually feel embarrassed for the companies and for the marketing that makes this decision, and for the fact that this ever became a thing and pretends that it's really about you and it's helping you. But I'll start with a scenario, because when we look at these, I'm always coming from a therapist perspective and looking at these things from the perspective of a therapist who thinks about relationships a lot. Let's say you vaguely know someone in your social system that you're mildly attractive, or you think is interesting, you think there's a possibility there maybe for a romantic attraction. And at some point you come across each other at a bar or at a party or at some event, maybe it's church, whatever, who cares, right? And you end up talking for 10 minutes and the person asks you out and says, hey, what do you like? Why don't we go out and have lunch on Tuesday next week? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do that. And let's say you do it, you put in the investment of sort of putting yourself together and getting in a vehicle and getting to that place and whatever. There's some investment, and that's your responsibility for going, yeah, I'm interested in this thing. And then you go and you have the meal and you think, oh, that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. And, maybe there's something there, maybe there's not. Who knows, right? But it was worth it. You enjoyed the time, and then you drive home. During the conversation, you chatted about, where you live, where they live, et cetera, et cetera. And you have kids or you don't, or you have a dog or whatever. And, that was pretty, maybe it's not like a romantic relationship, but that was really nice. I enjoyed that. And you go home and you don't think anything of it. And then literally 2 days later, they knock on your door and they're like, hey, I remember you told me that you had a dog and I just wanted to offer you, this information about how to care for a dog. I'd be like, oh, okay. And then a day later, you get an email saying, hey, we had lunch. Do you think you could post to social media telling everyone how great I had a great time. I feel like you had a great time. Would you mind posting to social media just to say how fun it is to go to lunch with me? Like, no big deal. And A week later, they knock on your door and they're like, "Hey, I'm just following up. Just wanted to see if you had any thoughts or insights or wanted to give any feedback on that lunch that we had." Okay. Then 3 days after that, they show up and they're like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know that I'm going to go to lunch again and you could come and I would buy." Okay. If someone did that to you, literally the first time they showed up, you'd be like, "You're a fucking psycho. Like, you are a stalker, or I mean, you have attachment. There is something wrong with you. Like, there's something really wrong with you." Now let's make it deeper, right? What if you did find the person attractive and you both had a couple drinks and you're like, "Man, this is fun." You ended up going back to your place or their place and you had sex and you were like, "Oh, that was really cool. That was really fun." And the moment you started leaving their apartment, they were like, "Hey, by the way, we could have sex again. I would go down on you." Okay, I mean, I'm good. I'm done. Like, I got what I wanted, but I guess it's okay that you ask. And like, hey, okay, before you leave, I'll give you a back rub. I'll give you a back rub at like no expectations back rub. You're like, no, it's, I I did what I wanted to do. We were both like, we both agreed to it. Like, but no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. "Oh, just wanted to make sure before you leave that next time we have sex, I'll buy dinner first if you lock that in now." You're like, no, thank you. "Okay, before you leave, if you could just give me your address and I'm just going to mail you opportunities to have sex with me." You'd be like, "This person is out of their fucking mind. This is so gross and so weird. It's so gross and so weird." What if you just had a coffee with them and once a week for ad nauseum forever, you got an email saying, "Tell us how good that coffee together was. Please post on social media and tell everyone how great it was to have coffee with me. Please let everyone know how wonderful your experience was." Okay. Now, what if in all those cases, when you were like, "Hey man, like, what are you doing? This is bizarre." If the person literally went, no, we do it for you. We do it to improve your experience. We want to make sure you're having the best experience. The person you went and had sex with, what if you went home and they checked in every week? "Hey, can you post to social media? Hey, can you this? Hey, can you do a survey? Can you do a survey?" And you're like, "Fuck, you're out of you. Like, you're so fucking weird. What the hell is going on?" And they went, no, it's not for me. I just want to make sure that you continue to have the best experience you could have. I'm doing this for everyone else. It's not for me. Okay. If your skin is not crawling, go to therapy. If you don't realize how gross this is, and I know that there are people who have grown up, like, these kinds of boundaries have just gotten fucking weird in the last 20 years. When I started working with kids and they started freaking out because they would text someone and not get a text back literally within minutes. And they felt, I was like, what's happening? Like, you don't even, that person could be in the dentist. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you think that's a thing? That people respond to you instantly or within seconds or minutes, or else they think something about you, right? So I know that there are generations who have literally been raised in this. But in general, if you're Gen X or older, fuck, man. Like, if you don't understand how gross what I'm describing is, how gross it is, and how, like, just ragingly, obviously self-serving and childishly, it's an infantile level of an attempt at emotional manipulation. How gross it is, right? Okay, so if you get that, great. If you don't get that, go to therapy or check your generation. But I'm pretty sure most people who hear this will get it. All I'm describing to you is exactly what every fucking company does if you buy their goddamn product. They instantly assume that they are entitled to fucking annoy you with surveys and blah. And believe me, I'm tech savvy. And I'm pretty anal about the shit, and I do everything I can. There are some gross companies that you have to remember to uncheck their marketing box. And there are some companies that are more ethical where they say, if you would like to receive our weekly, whatever you call it, check the box, and you just don't check the box, right? And there are some people you have to remember to uncheck the box. Well, that's some gross shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck every company that does that. You are gross assholes. You're mashers and you're molesters. Fuck you. There isn't anything ethical about that relationship. There isn't anything ethical about you slipping your pinky in somebody's asshole and going, well, you didn't say not to. Fuck you. Fuck you. We're all sick of that shit. It's disgusting. All those emails, it's like every time you buy something, and then you have to go back and you have to say unsubscribe. And then it doesn't unsubscribe for months, even though it says it will. And then sometimes you're like, oh, but that was our weekly post. Oh, these are updates on the product that you purchased. Oh, this is just our blah, blah. Go fuck yourself. You know that when that person unsubscribed, they didn't want any of your shit. They don't want it. And you also know that you're not doing it for the customer. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for data. You're doing it because you're needy as fuck. And because you don't stand by the quality of the product. When I buy something, at this point, I've bought 2 Santa Cruz bicycles. The first one I bought because it was recommended. Santa Cruz mountain bikes. The first was a tall boy because they have a long cockpit. I have a long torso, so that really worked for me, helped my back out. It was a good bike for me. Really loved that bike. But I didn't know a lot. I was like looking through Giant and Kona and whatever, and this was a demo model that people take out and beat the shit out of. Like the bike shop lets people demo it, and then at some point they'd sell it. It was a fucking great bike. Nothing was wrong with it. I don't know how many miles were on it, but I got a great deal on that bike. You know why I bought another Santa Cruz? Because it was a fucking great bike. I lost it in the Palisades fire. It was a great bike. It was a great bike, and I had great times on that bike. And it was sturdy and just the right amount of twitchy and flowy and comfortable. It was a great bike. I loved that bike, right? Guess what? I ended up buying a second Santa Cruz. Now, they're probably the same. If I bought new from a dealer or from them. Maybe I'd be on some email list. I don't know. But I've never received an email from them because I bought a used bike from a bike shop. And I never received an email from the bike shop. I don't think they ever asked because they're not douchebags. Right? But I got another Santa Cruz. You know why? Because it's fucking great. Okay. So 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I bought a Ford Fusion. It ended up being a great car. Got damaged in the fire, but I still have it. And then I had to buy another vehicle. And I ended up buying the Ford Ranger used. You know why? Because I like Ford. They don't email me because I didn't purchase directly from them. I have so many brands. Four Sigmatic I like a lot for dried mushrooms that have additives, vitamin B12, whatever that you put in your coffee. I like their product. It's not always rated the top, but it's rated one of the top. It's a little bit expensive, but I like the product and I like how it integrates and I like, their ethics and whatever. And they're a little annoying. I have to say, hey, don't, right? I have to send them a spam. They're annoying as fuck. They're the same goddamn needy bullshit, but I buy it because the product. Because I decided to buy the product and the product works for me, so I continue to have a relationship with the product. Not once have I bought a goddamn product again that didn't serve my needs because you fucking emailed me twice a week to whine about me giving you feedback and filling out a survey and posting to social media about how fucking cool you are. I just think you're an asshole. You're needy as fuck. And nobody likes it. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not just saying this as some consumer with a rant and who's pissy and grouchy today, which I am. My father ran a very successful marketing research firm for decades. He sold it, I don't know, maybe a decade ago or 8 years, I don't know, whatever. My father just passed away. And I saw the shift. I didn't work in it. My brother worked in it his entire life, and he's an expert. I'm a really smart guy who pays attention and learns whatever he does, but I'm not an expert. But I saw this shift happen, and my dad saw it happen, and he talked about this, where he pioneered something called in-store research, where for the most part, if you remember, if you're over 50, when we were kids, filling out a survey and taste testing something or testing something would happen in the mall. There'd be some weirdo in slacks and tennis shoes standing behind a table in the middle of the hall at the mall, and people are wandering through and whatever, and they're like, hey, can I have a moment of your time? Just, can you, test this or taste this and fill out the survey, blah, blah, blah. And what my dad says, which I believe him, right, and probably what the data says is you can collect a bunch of information, but none of it's very accurate because people walking around in a mall are not thinking about food and they don't give a fuck and they just want to say something nice to you and be done with it. So the data is worth trash nothing. It doesn't tell you anything because that's not what they're engaged. They're engaged in thinking about buying that toy for their child or getting to the food court, or maybe they're going to a movie theater that's in the mall, or maybe they're going clothing shopping and they're wandering around having a good time and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll be nice, I'll do it. You have no idea how accommodating people are. They're not thinking about, and they don't give a shit about, and their answers are not honest, even if they're not trying to be dishonest. They're definitely just trying to finish. The data is tripe. Okay? So what he engineered is he had developed a relationship with grocery stores and food producers as someone who had worked in the food industry as a biochemist and someone who tests food safety, et cetera, et cetera. And he had transitioned that into marketing research and taste testing, but he didn't do it in the malls. He literally, with grocery stores, he developed relationships with managers and chains where they would allow him to go in to the actual grocery store where people are shopping for food and making decisions about food, what marketing calls top of mind, right? Just top of mind. Well, all it means is they're thinking about the thing that you want to ask them about. And there, someone who may be buying soda, you say, hey, would you mind doing a taste test? We're just like taste testing a new flavor of soda and wondered if you would just take this. It'll take you 8 minutes and you can fill out the survey. And they're tasting something that they're actually thinking about buying. There's an increased level of honesty, right? And okay, people can still be accommodating, still be full of shit. They will still have accommodating people will still feel a deep instinct just to say something nice because they think the person who's giving the survey gives a fuck. The person giving the survey doesn't work for the company that they're testing. They don't give a shit. They're just doing their job. They don't care, right? But whatever. That humans are way nicer than you think they are because they accommodate even when is not necessary and doesn't help anything, but the data significantly improves. And my dad largely pioneered that approach, and then it became the industry standard because I think the data probably bore out that people wandering around a shopping mall don't give a fuck, and the answers that they give you, although they may intend it to be helpful, is so inaccurate that the data is worthless. And that the increase in accuracy of data of going into a grocery store where people are actually shopping for food products and drink products and dessert products, and then asking them about you have a much higher level of accuracy and honesty coming back, and that was more useful, and that's why it became, I think, again, you should ask my brother, James Sorensen, but I think it became seen as an industry gold standard. I participated in these things. I gave surveys, right? There was also phone interviews and interviews of things like, oh, how often go interview the manager of all, like go to all of these restaurants and interview them. You know, Heinz Ketchup wants to know how often they replace the bottles, or they wait until it's like a third left and they just pour new ketchup on top of that old ketchup, and after a while it's like that old ketchup has been there for fucking 6 months, right? And so Heinz wants to know, so they contract with my dad and say, hey, can you do a survey? And you're making phone calls to managers and you're asking them and blah blah. How accurate is that data? I don't know, but my dad was a smart guy and he understood you have to be super careful with this stuff, and you have to be honest about how accurate the data is. Okay, but instead of going into all this, let me explain to you, there was this shift. His shift was to try to become more honest with self about how accurate you could be, about how neutral your questions were when you wrote a questionnaire, whether you were sort of leading people to answer a certain way. And there's a whole science behind that, versus this new kind of customer relationship that supposedly is so much about improving the quality of the product so that the customer experiences this improved quality that's completely detached from anything real, and that you're entirely annoying the fuck out of the customer, and it's completely about you being a needy motherfucker, and there's some marketing wing of that goddamn company where people are making $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year to lie to the CEO and the CFO and whoever the fuck else and say, we're gathering this data and this means we should move the company this way. And all they're doing is being needy motherfuckers who are like, we need data. Give us data. Can you give us more data? Why don't you do that? We're really doing it for you, but we want data. Can you please tell us how we're doing? Please, blah, blah, blah. Can you do this? And then the marketing research also is completely blended with marketing. Can you post to social media? Blah, blah. And it's all a bunch of needy, goddamn fucking annoying bullshit that does nothing for anyone. Believe me, you marketing motherfuckers, you're doing nothing but burning through money. You're not finding out anything you need to know. And we fucking hate your guts. Go the fuck away. Go away. Nobody wants your emails. Nobody wants someone checking in and, oh, can you take this? Nobody fucking has time. Nobody fucking wants. And the only people filling those out are certain very, very, very special kind of people. God bless them. There's nothing wrong with them, but they have time and they think it's a little bit interesting and they're a little bit interested in marketing, blah, blah, blah. And they're so small that what they think matters because they're a human. But as far as data, it's bullshit. It has nothing to do with the reality. You're just annoying the fuck out of the rest of us. No one likes you. Go the fuck away. You hear me? I didn't say stuff like this for a long, long, long time because my father was in marketing research. My brother was in marketing research. My sister spent time in marketing research. I spent time helping my dad. I was never a major player at all. But I just felt out of loyalty. I didn't want to leap into shitting on my dad's industry, but he was aware, right? And he talked about that shit a lot, about, you know, what the value is really. Like if you're doing cold calling and you're literally just calling people, like what's really happening there? The level of emotional manipulation, if this was a human-to-human thing, a therapist would tell you to leave that relationship and never respond to that person again. Just random, I'll give you a for example. We used a certain internet provider in the neighborhood we moved into after we moved or were displaced from the Palisades. And we were okay, you know, they were okay. And then a competitor came through and they were doing a lot of work and upgrading their lines and, you know, blah, blah, whatever. And I saw that, you know, whatever. And so like 7:30 at night or 8, it's already like 15 minutes past my kids' bedtime and we're trying to get their baths and, you know, blah, blah. Knock, knock, knock. And these two fresh-faced, good-looking young folks, they look like they're maybe in their early 20s, maybe late 20s, are standing there with clipboards and like, hello, sir, you know, we apologize for bothering you. I just wondered if you noticed that we're doing a lot of Spectrum, dipshits. Wondered if you noticed we're doing a lot of work in your neighborhood and upgrading lines and just wanted to make sure we had not disturbed anything or messed up your service. Oh, that's a good service. That's a good way to sell your company and to sell the kindness and your attendance on the quality of service and quality of life that people are having in the neighborhood. That's really smart. That's good marketing. That's a good relationship. That's a good relationship, right? I was like, no, actually, I noticed that, but we use a different company, but we didn't have any interruptions, so that was fine. And immediately you see the, like, oh, well, let me check into our packages and let's just see what package we can get you set up with. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You guys knocked on my door at 8 o'clock at night when I have 2 kids to sell me? Get the fuck out of my face. I didn't say that. Guys, human to human, again, a therapist would tell you immediately leave that person and never is somebody who's that fucking manipulative. to put on that good a performance of we're just here out of concern and we're doing this for you, blah, blah. But they were fucking doing it to sell anyone in the neighborhood who wasn't their customer. That's all it was. They had just figured out a shtick. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, it's business, John. Like, shut up. That's not business. That's just lying. And the fact that we've had generation after generation after generation where the U.S. government, who is supposed to regulate whether or not people are just straight lying. Now, they can't do anything about that. But what I'm saying is, when I was a kid, they were at least fighting back the tide on monopolies and on dishonest advertising. That's completely gone. They don't give a shit. You can just straight lie. Unless you abjectly lie and you have a product that actually clearly causes serious harm and causes serious harm at a very large level where very, very many people get hurt, and then everyone screams, then the federal government will be like, oh, we have to step in here and blah, blah, blah. They don't give a shit whether it's honest or not. They only give a shit whether it becomes a big enough problem that they have to respond to it. So what I'm describing to you is that business, the U.S. government, the entire society, every bureaucracy has turned into this thing where they all have an infantile, stupid-ass level of psychological understanding of how to manipulate people, and they try to manipulate the fuck out of you in every goddamn interaction, and it's considered the norm. It's considered the norm. Now, those young people could tell I was pissed. I was polite to them. I didn't yell at them, but I was like, oh, you guys are selling? I have 2 kids. It's bedtime. And you're selling? And they're like, oh, we apologize. Sorry, sir. If you ever need anything, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they handled that fine. I'm not mad at them specifically as young people. But that's so fucking gross. I sat there for 10 minutes and listened to them and interacted with them because they acted like they were genuinely trying to check in to make sure that they had not hurt someone's service. And that's someone with a genuine empathy and care for the quality of the relationship. And they were just using it to emotionally position me to buy from them. That's fucking gross. That's gross. And you should say it every time. Say it every GD time. It's fucking gross. It's manipulative. Fuck off. I don't talk to people who do that shit. I do not establish relationships with people who do that shit. Go fuck yourself. If you try to emotionally manipulate me or psychologically manipulate me in order to take my money, that's molestation. That's disgusting. That's like some guy who tries to get a woman drunk enough and make her laugh enough that he gets to have sex with her, but he doesn't give a shit about her and he doesn't intend anything, blah, blah. Okay, she might not be able to cry rape or whatever. There may be some level, but he's basically sort of tricked her into allowing him to interact with the most intimate parts of her body. He's a fucking piece of shit. He's a scumbag, and he's disgusting. And people need to start saying so. Well, guess what? That kind of behavior from a business is the same goddamn thing. It's disgusting. Go fuck yourself. I have a regret that I didn't blow somebody up. When we were still car shopping, I know better than to go into a dealership. I know better. But I was going in to see what was available and to test drive and this and that. And I thought that there was a certain model that I was really into for our family. I was like, oh my God, that's going to be the right thing. I think it was the Atlas, VW Atlas, I think. It was their mid-size SUV. It's a very good price, very high quality, good gas mileage, good repair record. But the thing is they have different models. They have a sport model, which I forget what the problem is. They don't have the 6th seat row. I think they don't have the 6th seat row. And that's what we were looking for, is to have the 6th seat or the 6th or 7th seats available that can fold down or fold up. So I went into a dealership which shall not be mentioned. And, you know, some young hot shot, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he shows us the car. He's like, yeah, we could take it for a ride, blah, blah. And I looked at it, I was like, oh man, this doesn't have the 6th seat. He was like, yeah, the sport model is like click, like, oh, this is part of the reason why I go into dealerships, because you need to see. I need to pay attention to when it says sport model. The sport model doesn't have this thing. So, okay, so we're not going to buy that. It's not a thing. Now I'm there with both my kids. They're hot and tired. My wife's there. And we go in, and of course he immediately starts being a douchebag and saying, hey, let me show you something. Like, would you want to? Yeah, of course, I'm shopping. Like, if you can show me something in the same price range with the same value, yeah, sure. I mean, I've spent months at this point and I've narrowed in, but whatever. Like, I don't know, sure. So he starts showing me stuff that's like twice the price, wildly overpriced, blah, blah, and immediately starts that pitch of like, oh, we can finance it. Hey, you dumb motherfucker. No. I'll decide what I do with my finances. I will decide, not you. Okay, but this is normal, right? They're just going to try to make a sale. Again, there's a certain amount of whatever. And I was like, you know, the kids were crying. My son was climbing on me. Dad, I need to go. And I had just like carried him, gone to the restroom, come back. I'm exhausted. It's hot. And I forget what the dude did. He pulled some shit. And he sort of started fucking with me. Was something like, oh, well, why'd you come in if you were not ready to buy, you know, blah, like. And he saw me get pissed, and he was like, oh, I'm joking. I'm joking around. I joke around with people, blah, blah, blah. But he wasn't. He was trying to emotionally manipulate. Okay. Here's the thing. You know, that's one of those situations. I was tired and overwhelmed. Like, if I was more present, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't have an opinion about whether I come in or not. What are you doing? Or does this work? Trying to emotionally like guilt people? Oh, I feel guilty. Oh, you're right. I'll buy for twice the price, you douchebag. Guys, this is normal. And this has been around for millennia. I'm not telling you to freak out, right? You're seeing my personality. I've always been this way. When people emotionally manipulate and lie about their intentions, nothing pisses me off faster. You can go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. I will starve to death in a desert before I'll fucking buy water from you. Eat shit and die. Don't do that shit. And part of that, you know, that anger that you see, mild rage, is that my mother was incredibly emotionally manipulative. And everything like 99% of everything she ever said to me was a self-serving emotional manipulation. And she knew how to play me because I was a kid and she was my mom and I loved her and I believed her. And I spent 20, 30 years violating and hurting myself based on her manipulation. And at some point that's on me, right? So you see this anger. So I'm not expecting you to be as angry as me. And man, have I cussed up a storm today. I'm pretty sure I don't have, but let me make sure that I'm not missing a client, guys, as I go on my rant. Sorry about this. This is so unprofessional. Just fast forward. Oh, Jesus. Never mind. Okay. So, yeah, I know that's all out there, and you're going to go, well, it's just normal business. You just have to know how to set boundaries. Shut up. How about instead of putting all the weight Because now you get it in your email and you get it in text. And the second you buy from someone, especially if you buy online, then they're texting you and they're emailing you. And well, because your email is attached to Shopify or attached to Apple Pay or attached to Amazon, what the fuck ever. And then they're like, boom, 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 boom. Your mailbox is just full of bullshit. Look, this is not going to kill you. And this is where, when you're being violated, where society turns to you and goes, oh, stop whining, blah, blah, and they pretend that it's on you. Okay, you're right. This is not going to kill me. I can manage this. And I'm also being rageful and angry about it because of a traumatized childhood. But what I'm telling you is it's time to stop putting this on the consumer and putting this on the general public and stop pretending that we just allow this to be this way. You need to start calling it what it is. Some gross fucking manipulative bullshit. Some needy ass bullshit that does nothing other than try to suck data out of you, and they don't give a fuck about you. Right? You remember the one where I said, like, oh, if you were leaving the coffee date and they're like, oh, you want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you sure you don't want one with that? Well, like, you see those things where I'll do a bunch of research and it'll be like, oh, this is the top company, super high quality, third-party tested product, blah, blah, blah. This is definitely, you should go with them. And I go, okay, good. I want to try you guys out. And I purchase. And then they do that disgusting crap where when you go to try to check out, they ask you over and over, you sure you don't want this? You sure you don't want this other thing? You sure you don't want this other thing? No, motherfucker. I'm just exploring the relationship with your scumbag self. And I did a bunch of research, but now you're skeeving me out, you weirdo. Go the fuck away and let me make my purchase. I'll decide if I want to buy from you again. It's all a bunch of skeevy, weird-ass, molesting bullshit. And somebody needs to say it. Right? So I'm saying it. Hey, marketing folks, I know and you know that you don't earn your money. Some do. Some people are geniuses and they're putting on campaigns and, right. Okay, so I'm being super unfair. But I also know from listening and talking to my dad and working inside of it, how often the data is a complete failure, but it doesn't matter because the people who were the high power people and set that up and they were making 250, 300,000 a year, 500,000 a year, they spend a year and a half, 2 years, and they run some things, and before anyone can even evaluate the data, they've moved on to some other thing and it becomes pointless. And the reason the company hires a marketing wing is because they're supposed to be the experts in data. And when what they're doing is trash, there's nobody to check them. They're like the police. It's like the police are the law enforcement. When the police are breaking the law and being a bunch of scumbags, who's going to fucking check them? Them? The police are going to check the police? Well, it's the same thing. The marketing folks are the data folks. There's nobody to check them when they're full of shit, and they're full of shit a lot. Again, I'm saying this from having had an inside view, from having talked to my dad, who was when it came to scientific things, when it came to personal things within our family, he was utterly full of shit. But when it came to scientific things, he was very rigidly honest, and it got him into trouble because he would get frustrated with clients and sometimes take an attitude with them because he was rigid about the science, about it being clean, and about it being honest, and about the data being accurate. But ultimately, in the long term, people realized, hey, you want to go with this guy because it's the real deal. Marketing folks, if you're in that group where your data is trash and there's no way to come back on it, nobody's going to check you on it, you just move on and then you get a job for $1 million a year somewhere else because you ran marketing at this level and blah, blah, and you did this campaign and collected this amount of data, but nobody ever fucking knows whether it mattered or whether the data, you're the data people. People game the data all the time. So I'm talking to you right now. We don't want to give our opinion of your goddamn product. fuck off. If it's a good product, we'll come back. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and go away. And stay out of my goddamn emails. And stay off of my goddamn texts. I don't want a relationship with you. I don't know you. You're not a person. There's a group of people that makes a product. And like Santa Cruz bicycles, if I experience a lot of great stuff with that product, I'm going to come back. You're doing nothing by asking for a survey or sending information. Well, you have to make, I remember when the internet became this thing where it's like, people are like, well, I'm going to train you like how to become better at, developing a relationship. And it's like, when you post on the internet, make sure you're posting something helpful. And then all you had was a bunch of fucking dipshits posting lists of helpful information that anybody could Google in 2 seconds and just flooding the internet with multiple copies of the same meaningless bullshit because you're being helpful. You're not fucking helpful. Nobody needs you to post another goddamn list of something that's been posted 1 billion times already. You're not developing a relationship. That's not a relationship. That's just you being needy and wanting attention. Go the fuck away. Okay? That's the message to you. All right. For folks like you and me, I don't recommend being this pissy about it. I'm tired and grouchy today. And guys, I really got to make sure I'm not missing a client. I'm not. Okay, I should have just looked. Sorry for the interruptions. I knew I wasn't. Here's for folks like me. Okay, don't get all pissy and like, this is me. It's also a family trait. It's also my trauma, all the cussing and the anger and the judgment. And well, I don't do that. I'm sure you don't. You're a better person than me. But call it what it is. It is needy as fuck. It is someone pretending to establish a caring, a tentative relationship with you as a person when all they want is your data and all they want is for you to do their marketing for them and all they want, it's some marketing department that wants to go back to the people who pay them $250,000 a year and say, oh, we engaged this and we had this many hits and we sent out this many, we have this many people on the mailing list and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean shit. That just means how many fucking people you're annoying. Okay. Just come back, right? Folks, call it for what it is. It's harassment. It's molestation. It's harassment and molestation. It's you saying, yeah, sure, I'll shake your hand. That's a normal interaction. And then actually reaching around and slipping a pinky in your asshole. That's what it is. Fuck them. Now, there's so many people doing it that you can't avoid it. For example, Four Sigmatic, they do it, but they have a great product and it's just right for me and it's what I like. And so I come back and also when I tell them stop doing it, they actually stop doing it. Many companies don't. But some companies, when you unsubscribe and then you go and make sure you unsubscribed from all of their newsletters, like most companies will have 8 to 10. It's like, there's the daily, there's the weekly, there's product updates, there's check-ins, there's go fuck yourself, man. Needy motherfuckers. And if nobody else is saying it, I'm saying it. All right, folks. It may be hard to avoid, but avoid it when you can. If it's not an absolute home run, which again, like for Four Sigmatic, that is for me, I'm willing to put up with it. But any chance you get, the second someone does that skeevy ass shit where you're trying to check out and they ask you, "What? You sure you don't want this? You sure don't want to add that? You sure don't want this? You sure don't want that?" It's not just that it's gross, it also fucks with your own autonomy and your decision-making process. Because someone starts saying, hey, you just don't have the information you need. When I give it to you, you actually decide on this. Well, they're fucking with your autonomy and your own attention and your own decisions. And they're turning you into someone who responds to their stimulus, not your own. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit longer because this is a super important. In the larger psychological context, you have to understand that every time you let someone do this to you, you send the message to your own biology that you are not the most important arbiter of your decision process, that other people are, that the environment is, that they knew something that if only you had been aware of it, you really would have wanted to buy it. No, you wouldn't. This has been a science and marketing. They've been working on making you want to buy things for decades. This is explicit. It's in the marketing books and it's in the marketing manuals. It's in the sales books. It's in the sales manuals. They've been studying psychology longer than psychologists have. Figuring out how to convince you that you actually choose what they want you to choose. So every time you let them slip a pinky in your asshole, you're training your own biology to think it's normal that when you go to shake someone's hand that they slip a pinky in your asshole. You get me? You're violating your own autonomy, your own vision, and your own choices, and you're teaching your own biology. You're turning yourself into an automaton, an automaton, that if they press the right buttons, the money comes out of your pocket and you think you decided, but you didn't. And that's what they're doing. They're gaming you. They're gaming you. They're sucking data out of you. They're sucking money out of you. And they're gaming your brain to convince you. And again, I'm saying this as someone who worked and saw from inside the goddamn industry. Never, 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 unless it's a product that you really truly know, yes, I want this. The second they do that weird skeevy shit, write those motherfuckers off. Do not reward the goddamn molesters of the business world. Don't do it. Do not reward the goddamn molesters and liars and manipulators of the business world just because we've sat back and let it happen so much that it's now the norm and the US government doesn't even try to regulate it. Like, we're fucking lucky. They're doing worse. Why would they regulate it? They lie more than those companies do. So for the yous and the me's, every time you can, the second they do that weird, skeevy, molesting, emotionally manipulative shit, shine those motherfuckers on. If you feel like it, respond with an email and saying, you're a gross, skeevy, needy motherfucker trying to suck data and money out of me. Go fuck yourself. Maybe I would have continued buying your product, but you pissed me off. Fuck off. We need to say this shit and do this. You want freedom back? You want calm in your nervous system? You want to be not overstimulated? They're slowly breaking down all of your boundaries to make you more amenable to control and to purchase, to control and to purchase, to control and to purchase. Of course, everyone's more anxious and more confused about boundaries, guys. Start there. Start with those weird-ass motherfuckers and say no. The second they act weird, be like, go fuck yourself. Don't be abusive of an individual, just like I did with, the young people who came. I was not cruel or rude to them, but I made it very clear. Are you serious? You're trying to sell me at 8 o'clock at night. I have 2 kids I'm putting to bed. Get off my porch. All right, guys. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Just for today, everything's okay, everything's okay.